What's up, y'all? It's Thursday. I hope everybody out there is doing good. So let's go ahead and get down. And I want to revisit this issue with Usher because a lot of people are coming for Usher. I told you all that he was going to get lit up. And basically, Usher sat down and did an interview with Forbes, and he was asked about Diddy. And so when he was asked about Diddy, Usher said that he had nothing to say bad about that man. And he also said that Diddy has been misrepresented. So a lot of people are like, misrepresented? Misrepresented where? Because we all saw the video with him putting paws on Cassie in the fashion that he did, which is absolutely true, and that video is horrific. Usher then goes on to say that when he thinks about Diddy, he thinks about legacy. He says that Diddy was an astute businessman and he learned so much from him, and so many black entrepreneurs benefited from the path that Diddy created because of how he positioned himself in the industry. So basically, he's separating the man from the actual business side of things when it comes to Diddy's business acumen. Just like I made that reference yesterday, a lot of people try to separate R. Kelly's music from the actual piece of shit he is. Now, make no mistake about it, Diddy is in that same category as a R. Kelly in my estimation. Even though the charges are different, they're still two peas in a pod. But at the end of the day, a lot of people are so disappointed with Usher that he would take this position because they feel like that Usher, if he wasn't going to criticize Diddy, he just shouldn't have said anything at all. Now, for those of you who don't know, Diddy's legal team is working overtime behind the scenes to get that man released early. So we saw Carisha do an interview not too long ago. Now Usher is coming with his interview. And it seems as though that maybe they're bracing for his early exit out of federal prison. Because when you look at both Young Miami and Usher's interview, they're both basically saying the same thing. They're highlighting the fact that what some of these victims went through, they didn't go through. Now, Usher has come out and said in the past that Diddy has never violated him or SA'd him. But a lot of people want to make it seem like that he's lying and he's trying to protect Diddy, and he could be. But at the end of the day, we don't know, and it's all rumors. So why do we choose to believe the worst, right? Why do we choose to believe the worst, or we want the worst to be the actual truth? If Usher said it didn't happen, we can think what we want to think, but at the end of the day, what he's saying could be valid. Nothing like that never happened. But it is hard to believe that when Diddy was talking about them wrestling over the Fruit Loops in the bed and things like that. That is just crazy. You know what I'm saying? So I get where we would come with the conclusion that we don't believe that Usher wasn't violated by Diddy. And of course, some of you who follow me tight, y'all remember the video that I did because my plug passed down some information that Usher was actually sent to the hospital and that his back door had been entered and he had to go see a doctor, and his mother was aware of the situation. Again, it was alleged information, and it's still alleged information. It has not been confirmed. But I will say that there's a lot of sources out there that have confirmed that this did happen behind the scenes, but it was just kept quiet for so long. But anyway, after the clip of Usher's interview went viral, Albure had something to say about it, and I want to turn your attention to what he had to say. So Albure posted and said, "Another strategy gone wrong by Incarcerated's PR crisis management team at the expense of a superstar in exchange for validation right before the scheduled appeal for early release. Who in that public relations office comes up with this stuff? It is alleged that a sizable charitable $1 million donation was issued, memo stating brand ambassador fee, and now it's time to pay the piper. Stay strong, little bro. You are the biggest artist in the world and somebody knows it. Your legacy is intact." All right, so shout out to Albure, one of the most humble individuals I've ever come across that's in the game. But he's alleging that Usher received a $1 million donation to basically defend Diddy. And if this is true, this really puts Usher in a huge pile of shit, because your integrity, or the lack thereof, should never be bought. And it's going to be interesting to see if Usher responds to this, because I'm pretty sure that he's going to respond to Albure. They're both in the same genre of music. They both have a little bit of history together, and I'm pretty sure that he's going to say something, whether he comes out and deny these claims, which I would expect, because listen, we don't know if they're true, but I expect Usher to actually respond to Albure. But anyway, let's move along, and I want to talk about this worthless imbecile in 50 Cent. Y'all know who follow me tight, I can't stand 50. He irks me, and I have to be very careful when I talk about 50 Cent because I'll end up saying something that I actually mean, but it would not be deemed appropriate for this platform. So of course this big ugly bitch had to take to his platform to actually talk about what Usher said as it pertains to him not speaking negatively on Diddy. And this is what 50 had to say. He says, Usher, like, I don't want people to know what he did to my ASS. I'm a grown man now. My ASS is off limits, LOL. So 50 is a clown, a bona fide buffoon, right? Because you have to think about it from this standpoint. If Diddy violated Usher when he was just a youngin', that means that you're poking fun at a man that was violated when he was underage. Now, in the same breath, it's crazy that Usher would even think about defending Diddy if the rumors were true. But speaking from the standpoint that the rumors are not true, this is extremely repulsive behavior on the part of 50. And I blame some of y'all. I blame some of y'all that kept hyping 50 up like he was some funny comedian. Every time he would do something disrespectful, y'all would reward him with follows and crazy comments. And like I said, I keep saying this over and over, but I see a lot of comments when he posts things and people be like, oh, I don't care, I love 50, he's my spirit animal. You really take your cue from 50 on how to govern yourself on a day-to-day basis and how to conduct yourself as a human being? You really take your cue from a low IQ individual like 50. And for those individuals that think that way, it just goes to show that some, okay, note that I said some, people within the black community are mentally cooked. And honestly, you could just tell by the comments, right? You go to that particular post on 50's page and you'll see people laughing it off saying Usher missed Diddy's D and things of that nature. This is not funny. You know, and again, I'm speaking from the standpoint if it was true that Usher was taken advantage of by Diddy. Why are y'all joking about this? This is not funny whatsoever. Now, let me address this last point that I want to make before I close this video, because I see many comments stating, because of what Usher said about Diddy in that interview, that he doesn't care about women getting paws put on them, right? That he totally turned a blind eye to Cassie being ABUSED'd. But let me just say this, the man clearly said that Diddy had flaws and no one is perfect. That right there, the Cassie video, all of that intertwines in that statement right there. Usher said that Diddy was not perfect. He said that Diddy was flawed, right? You know what I'm saying? He basically is saying that he recognizes Diddy's flaws, but he chooses to recognize him in a different light as it pertains to Diddy's business acumen. Where in the hell do you guys go to space and say that Usher does not care about Cassie getting paws put on her, or any female for that matter? Now, when I say y'all, I'm just saying in general. I'm not saying to anybody that has a different point of view that may be watching this video. So I just want to make that clear. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is, would it have been nice for Usher to say, listen, I don't stand behind or condone anything that Diddy has done. I don't agree with what he did to Cassie. I'm not with that. I'm not on that type of time. Yes, that would have been good to hear. But because he didn't clarify himself or say it in the way that some of y'all wanted to hear it, now it's time to cancel Usher. He clearly generalized everything that has been put out there about Diddy and the things that he's done under one statement when he said, listen, he's flawed. Nobody is perfect. He just didn't get specific enough, and he should have gotten specific because I would have been specific. And I think that Usher should have revised his comment when the interviewer asked him what word comes to mind when you describe Diddy. He should have said controversial legacy. Not just legacy, controversial legacy if he was going to say anything. I know some of y'all think that he shouldn't have said anything at all, right? But if he was going to say anything, he should have said controversial legacy. But anyway, I'm gonna let this go right here. I want you guys to feel free to drop down in the comments and leave your thoughts. Don't forget to like, also share this video. And if you're new here, consider subbing to the channel. I'll get with you guys later. Have a beautiful day.